Hi there, it's Travis L. Ayers, a.k.a. Mark Summers. Mark Summers was my radio disc jockey name when I was playing the hits on great radio stations for 35 years. Great stations like WABC and WCBS-FM in New York City. But before I got to WABC, and this is the beginning of another radio story, advance notice, before I got to WABC in New York in 1979, I was working with some great disc jockeys on a station called WTIX, way down yonder in New Orleans. Let's go back to 1973 and check it out. WTIX was America's first big city top 40 radio station. Todd Storrs turned WTIX to the top 40 format in the mid-1950s. And when I arrived there in 1973, TIX, as it was affectionately called by its listeners, was still the top dog radio rocker in New Orleans. It was also home to some of the best DJs in the South. There was Bob Walker, who did middays and was the station's music director. In Morning Drive, the real Robert Mitchell, the man who hired me to be part of the WTIX airstaff. Thanks, Bob. And in Afternoon Drive, one of the most unique radio personalities I've ever worked with, the one and only Skinny Tommy Chaney. So in 1973, I sent a tape of my show to Bob Mitchell. As WTIX program director, Bob was the guy who hired the new disc jockeys. I was working for WDDT, a good little top 40 daytime operation in Little Greenville, Mississippi at the time. Well, Bob must have heard something he liked because he gave me a call, and soon I was on the air at WTIX in New Orleans, rubbing elbows with local TV celebrities like Angela Hill. What was it that made WTIX a ratings winner year after year in New Orleans? I believe it was like a good gumbo, a mixture of the key ingredients. Great music, of course. The WTIX playlist was primarily solid hits, but with some favorite New Orleans oldies from Fats Domino, Clarence Frogman Henry, Frankie Ford, and the like, sprinkled in for local flavor. And to keep the sound fresh, a few new up-and-coming songs were thrown into the mix.
Her young face was like that of an angel. Her long legs were tan and brown. Better keep your eyes on the road, son. Better slow this vehicle down. 'Cause like a princess she was laying there, moonlight dancing off her hair. She woke up and took me by the hand. She's gonna love me in my Chevy van, and that's alright with me.
Yep, WTIX had entertaining disc jockeys, the best programmer, and the hottest hit music. And we needed all of those resources because in 1973, war was declared in the Crescent City. Figaro magazine called it the Great New Orleans Radio War, and the two main combatants were WTIX and its archenemy, WNOE. Well, there you have it, WTIX, one of the great top 40 radio stations in America in the 1960s and 1970s, and I believe the guy who deserves most of the credit for that was our program director, Bob Mitchell. We lost Bob. Bob passed away in 2022, and I think I speak for just about everybody who ever worked with Bob and worked for Bob. We all owe him a great debt of gratitude for our future careers in radio with what we learned under Bob at WTIX. Wanted to mention some of the other people who were very important to the WTIX on-air sound in the mid-1970s, specifically the news department. We had some great news people. Todd Bauer, who everybody called Teen Angel. That was our nickname for Todd Bauer. He's an excellent newsman. And not only a great newsman, but a funny guy. Craig Roberts, man, what a talent he was. And my good friend, Jeff Stearman. Jeff and I still good friends after decades. Jeff would go on to be the news director for the mighty KEEL Big Hill in Shreveport. That was his hometown. But just a salute out to some of the wonderful news people at WTIX that I work with. Okay, now where you were looking at a picture, it was a picture of a T-shirt that we did as a promotional event in the I think it was around 1973 we did this. It was very popular, one of our most popular promotions, not only with the listeners, but also with the disc jockeys, because we got our picture on the T-shirts. And so here's what we were looking at. And let's see if I can get this where... All right, I thought I would identify the people because you couldn't tell necessarily in the video. This person right here, that would be me, Mark Summers. That's our music director, Bob Walker. We were talking about Bob Mitchell. That's a caricature of Bob Mitchell. I just mentioned our news buddy, Teen Angel Todd Bauer. That is him. And the one and only Skinny Tommy Cheney. Beautiful promotion from 1973 at WTIX. Oh, I don't want to forget to mention our engineering department in the mid-70s at WTIX. TIX had a beautiful 10,000-watt clear channel signal, went all the way from New Orleans down the Gulf of Mexico to the Florida Peninsula. What a great sound the station had, and a lot of that due to the excellent work of our chief engineer, Oscar Talbot, great guy, and also another great guy, engineer Ty Bell. So a salute to the TIX engineering department, too. Well, I had 4 great years at the Mighty 690 in New Orleans from 1973 to 1977. But I guess all things must end, and in 1977, I jumped ship, went across Canal Street to the competition. Oh, no. WNOE. And in a little while, I became program director of WNOE, and I found myself in direct competition with my old boss, my mentor, Bob Mitchell. So that turned out to be a couple of interesting years, too. And, well, that's another story, another radio story for another time. So maybe we'll come up with that next. If you like what we're doing here with our radio stories on YouTube at Travis L. Ayers, then just hit that subscribe button. We'd appreciate it. You can also check out a few things at travislayers.com, our website. Until the next time, this is Travis L. Ayers, Mark Summers saying, catch you later.